Hi everyone, just wait a moment till get a few watching. I'm going to do a little demo on using alcohol inks today. Hi Carla. Just going to wait for a few more join us and I'll do a little demo. Okay. Right, we'll make a start. Right, so here's one I did a couple of days ago with the alcohol inks. Some abstract flowers there, a little bit gold. I don't know if you can see the gold sparkling a bit there. It's not quite as sunny at the minute. So that's one of those I did a little while ago. And I'll show you the techniques in a minute because you can see where it's a bit darker there. You've got the dots going on, you've got the bit spread out and so on. Here's another one I did. The flowers there, you can see the sparkle of the gold. And again, this time I decided to do a little jug. Gave them a little something to sit in. You can see the gold little sprays there. Got some flowers and you've got some little bits spraying out there. You've got some dots. So I'll show you the technique on those in a little bit. And then here's one of the portraits I did of Morgan Freeman. So a slightly different technique, but again you can see there's like little dots going on there. I used on his skin, on his beard, on his hair, and then the different patterns I got around there. And then you can see like some more brush strokes that I used there. So they're all slightly different techniques. So it's very different to painting with acrylics or even just normal drawing ink. It's looks very different. So we're going to have a go with doing some now. So the paper, first thing you need to use is photographic paper from a batch from Costco. So you can, if you can see it very well on the screen, that's the shiny side. You normally have print on your photographs, but you actually use the other side. I don't know the science behind it, but it's something to do with making sure the ink doesn't come right through, like when you're printing it on the shiny side of the for your photographs. It's some repel. I don't know. Anyway. Use the non-shiny side. You can use the shiny side, but it looks a bit different. So you can use a paper called UPO paper, YUPO, which I've not actually used yet. We just happen to have loads of this photographic paper from when we printed out some pictures. So I thought, well, I might as well use that as I've got it at home. So hi Sharon. So yeah, so that's the paper you need. So it's not normal paper. Normal paper, this ink, because it's with alcohol, it evaporates really quickly. So the let's get that in shot. So the isopropanol, so it's 99% alcohol basically. You wouldn't want to drink this stuff for sure. It's supposed to be without fragrances, still a little bit smelly and a bit fumey, so you have to have the good ventilation when you use the alcohol inks. So I managed to get a job lot of this a while ago, before the lockdown, because I think this is a bit rare at the moment, so you only need a tiny amount, so this is going to last me a long time. I'll show you some of the alcohol inks. So the brand I've got, there's this is Passion Purple, so this is Pinata brand, Jacquard alcohol ink there. So that's the thing you need to look for. Don't just use, I've got normal drawing inks as well, but, and then what's the other one? Let's find the other brand. Oh, there's the Holtz, I think that's Jim Holtz. Ranger, that's the one. Alcohol inks, they're highly flammable, vapor, harmful. Don't want to swallow it, but yeah, it's the important thing with alcohol inks is to make sure you are in some fresh air, because it is a little bit fumy. Okay, now the way you use alcohol inks is because with alcohol it evaporates really quickly. So I'm just going to quickly decant some from this big pot. I'm going to try and open the lid without spilling it everywhere into a glass jar. I can never get this lid off. It's definitely childproof, so I'm just going to do it. You can't see this in shot. Okay, so I've just basically, I might need a bit more. I've just got an old glass. This is one of my kids' baby jars when they're baby, I think. And I've got a straw. You'll see that in a minute. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Okay. Right. So that's that. Right, so the first thing you can do is basically you're just going to have fun and play around with the alcohol inks. That's what I'm just going to show you at that today. I might have a go at doing some little flowers. I've got my palette that I use here that I put the colours in, and you can see where they've evaporated. Basically they've just evaporated, so there might have been a little bit left, and that's what left. But I can still, if I put some ink in there now, it will actually activate that ink, and you can start using it again. So for example, if I went back to my I'll show you my Morgan Freeman painting that I did a while ago. If I suddenly decide, oh, I don't like that bit there, if I actually drop some alcohol on there, it would start moving around again. That's what's quite good about this. Even though I did this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I could actually wipe that clean and get rid of it with the alcohol. Obviously I'm not going to do that, but that's how it works. So let's go back. So I've got to use this fairly quickly. So let's choose, we'll start with a lighter colour, I think. I've got all sorts here. I've got botanical green, citrus, sunshine yellow, and then my favourites I've got, I don't know if you can see it that well. Can you see? Oh, that's showing up. There's the rich gold, and it's separated. You can just about see that. I don't think you see it very clearly. The liquid there, and then you've got the gold in the bottom. So you need to give that a bit of a shake before you use those. I've also got, some reason I've ended up with 2 lots of silver. Silver's got the same thing. You need to give those a shake. And I need to get myself like a brassy, bronzy type colour. So that's one colour I haven't got. Okay. So, I'm using the straw. I did have a pipette, and that was probably years old, and that eventually split. So basically it's just a way of keeping that alcohol in there clean as I can. As long as I start using the other colours in my palette, it'll get a little bit messy. I'll move that there so hopefully you can see it a little bit. Okay, so it's all about having fun. I've got another straw which I'm going to use to blow. So it's a little bit like when the kids do the painting on the, when they have the runny paint and they blow, and they can do like trees and all sorts, can't they? I have got an air gun, which is my son's that I've pinched and borrowed a few times. But that's noisy when I put that on. So I thought I won't use that today because you have that chugging noise in the background. So, okay, right, we're going to have a go with some colours now. So basically I'm going to use it like, you know, pipette, like you drop it on there. I'm going to put some alcohol on here. Then I'm going to choose a colour. I might do a blue one today. Bluey green sort of sea sort of colours, I think. All right, so I'm going to drop a bit on there. You probably won't be able to see it that well. Okay, and then I'm going to, so this one's got a nice little dropper, so I'm going to drop it on there. Oh, okay, so it's moving already only because the table's slightly wonky. I'm going to start blowing it a bit now. quite like doing the swirls because it sort of gets a little bit of, I don't know, a flower effect, or rather than doing it out like the kids would do it. Still a bit wet, so I'm going to try and add a little bit more to it. So right, there we go. This is when you get a bit lightheaded. It's nearly, it doesn't take that long to evaporate. It's nearly dried already. So you have to work quite quick to get the effect you want before it dries. Okay, so I've start that one off now. So I'm going to try, I'll do another, maybe we'll work on some like, so I'm going to put a few drops here now. And we'll do another blue one, I think. I'll just make it up as I go along. It's part of the fun of these. Hi Jane, how are you? So using alcohol inks today. So I'm just blowing on a, we've just joined, just blowing on a straw, very high tech. Watching what the alcohol ink's doing. Okay, I might just add a bit more blue to that one. And don't worry too much, you can never be precise with these, and I've got to make sure I pick up the right straw. Right, that one there is dry already because the alcohol in it has made it evaporate. You can see that bit there is still quite wet. I'm not getting too lightheaded yet, thankfully. Blowing through the straw. Okay. Right, I think we might add another one. And it's all about building up the layers, really. So I'm going to, like, can you see now? I flicked it now. Can you see what's happened? Happy mistake. Can you see where the alcohol's gone? It's now started separating, pushing the colours out. I don't mind it when it does that because I quite like it. I was going to do that later, but it's done a bit now already. That's part of the fun. Now, if I wanted to, think, oh, I'm not happy with that bit. Now, that's still a bit quite wet, so I can add, there we go. I'll add a bit more there. Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm going to add a bit more over here again. I'll try, let's try this one, Mermaid. Okay. I'm just going to turn it around a little bit. Right, it's still quite wet there. I don't know if you can see the shine. Let's add a bit more green. That's got a little bit. Let's go that way. See that? Could use that as a stem, maybe. What I like, it's like the different layers you get because the ink, sorry, the alcohol evaporates at different rates. Just in that little section there, you've got like quite a pale bit, you've got like the dark lines, sort of create quite a contoured effect, and you can see the bits here as well, just because when the alcohol's evaporating at different rates, just does its own thing. That's what I find quite exciting. So, you know, you can't be precious with this at all. And that's nearly dry. So these bits here are all dry, but I can still work on them. I'm going to add a bit of green over here now. Let's put the ink on. Now you can see all that there starting to move. So if I pop a bit of green, maybe more over here. Okay, I'm going to turn that. I turned it before I put the ink on. Okay. Oops. So we've got to be careful of is getting a bit of dribble when you straw. Right, just blowing it in one direction there. And I quite like it, sort of looking like it's, oh, what's those, the crystals there that've got that, when you slice them and you get those, that sort of effect. It looks a little bit like that. Okay, let's maybe we'll try yellow, see how that works out. I'm going to use the sunshine yellow because it's brighter. I've got another one, that one, citrus, which is a bit more orangey. Oh, this one's a bit brighter. I've just got dry, this is the trouble, I've got dried ink that's flaked there. I don't know if you can see that. Turn it around a bit. See that bit in the middle is evaporating, but now it's going back in. I think I'm going to put a darker colour just at the top there, and then I'm going to do a different technique in a minute. This is just sort of getting like the base colours down. Might be a bit too much there. Right, I'm going to use amethyst now. Right, I'm going to turn that round. No, actually, oh yeah, it's moving already onto the green. That's okay. Right, let's drop that one. Okay. It's funny how that one's more fanned out. I might turn it round so I can get that darker bit back up there. Oh, I love that. It looks a bit like a peacock feather. Oh, the colours are really mixed really nicely there. It's all about not blowing too hard as well, because otherwise you get the, you know, when the kids blow it to the paint, it will spike off, and that looks quite nice sometimes. But I like the gentle effect. That's why I need more practice with the air gun, because when I do it way too fast and it goes, it spurts out everywhere. I might like leave that, watch that evaporate, see what happens there. Okay. So I've got some what I quite like is when you sort of look back, stop and look at it, you can sort of see different effects and you think what you can do with it, or just play around and keep it as abstract. Got some quite wispy bits in here where they've turned out. Looks a bit like I don't know, a bit like iris, is it? Those big petals there, a bit in the middle. Okay, so I've got some background colours in, so I'm going to start using my palette a little bit now. So what I'm actually going to do is use some of the alcohol straight into the palette, and then I'm going to mix it. And I've got to work quite quickly because it really evaporates ever so quickly, and then you've lost your moment basically. So I'm going to, where is it? Find my tatty old brush, but they do the job. Can't be too precious with these brushes. So if I put a bit of alcohol in there now, I'll just show you quickly. I'm just going to put a little drop in that one. Is that in shot? Yeah. So can you see that's why I use alcohol for cleaning things. Look how clean that's basically got. But there's a bit of colour on the brush, you can see now. So if I did something on there, it'll come up with some of that colour, but that's a bit not the nicest purple at the minute. So I'm going to put a drop of, as I've got the dark colour on there, I need a bit of kitchen roll. Oh, luckily I've got a bit to hand. I can get that ready. I'm just going to wipe the brush. I'm going to start with some of the lighter colours, so I'll use my vaguely yellow bit there. So I'm going to get my, whoops, sunshine yellow again. So I'll pop that in there, a couple of drops. I'm not going to put too much in. Then I'm going to put a little drop in there. So I've got a bit of time now. So I'm just going to do a few little drops now and just have a little play around. And you can see what I like now. Can you see, because that's gone on the bluey green colour there, the mermaid, it's picked up a bit of the colour that's on the paper. I'll just put a few over here. And then I can go back on top of this one. So they've basically the dots I've done. Can you see they just all joined up together when they spread out? Same with the ones up here. So it depends how much alcohol you probably got. So I'm just going to try keep adding dots to that particular. You can get like when they dry. Can you see the line that's appeared? Because when they've dried. So if you're careful enough, you don't manage to do it carefully enough, and you did slightly less each time, you would get the circles coming in. So you see another rings just a bit. Hopefully you can see that okay, because it's quite light. Maybe I'll do some more up here. I'll try it in a different colour in a minute. Right, you can see what's happening over here now. This is why you can spend hours just playing with these inks. Because if you don't like it, you can go back and think, oh, I'm going to do something else with that bit. Put a few more dots here. I'm just having a play today. I'm not worrying about it too much. This is the bit I quite like doing. It's just watching with the bits you've already done. Okay, I can probably leave that yellow there for a little while longer. Just going to clean my brush off a little bit. My trusty bit of kitchen roll. Right, I'm going to try. I'll use that one there. So I'm going to use some. It's add a bit of the blue now. I'll put a little bit of ink in, alcohol, a bit of the ink, mix it up. So let's try some over here now. I might just go back over what I did here. So you can see how different that looks to what's happened over here. So that's just quite pale, because I've mixed quite a lot of alcohol with the ink. It's quite a pale blue. It's diluted it as it would, so you get quite a nice texture with it there. Right, I'm going to try what I did here with the yellow. I don't know if you can see it that well. So I'm going to go back to that dot there, let that expand and evaporate, then we'll go back and see what happens if I do one over here as well. I'll make it a little bit bigger, add a bit more to it, because it spreads out on its own, do its own thing. Might try it on there as well. I like that one. Like ripples in a pond. I'll go back to that one. Right, I'm going to add a touch more ink because that's quite diluted. No, not quite as dark as I want, so put another dot of ink in there. See what difference is now. Okay. I'm thinking now it might take a little bit longer to expand because there's not as much alcohol in there. It might just not quite spreading out as the others bit as it was a minute ago. I might need to add a little bit more. There we go. Let's do one down here. I'm hoping you can see that okay. Why is it expanding? Right, so I'm going to go around that one with some dots. See what effect I get from there. I think I'm going to go a bit of maybe a spiral theme on this one. I was thinking of the fossil earlier, maybe a bit of like what's it, ammonites, isn't it? Right, that's nearly all gone now. Okay, I need to add some, I'm going to add some more purple in now, so I'm going to put the purple in first. And a tiny bit, maybe not add so much alcohol this time. Mix it up again. Okay. I'm going to go over some of the bits I've already done to see what happens with the colours. Let's make it up as I go along. So it will do what it wants to do. You can see that bit there, how that green's getting moved now. So that was pretty much dry, that dark patch of green. Right, so that's lost the dots there. It's sort of the ink sort of spread out and joined up together, but that's okay. So because I prefer it when there's a bit more, rather than just a solid shape, when there's a bit more of a pattern or a texture going on there. It's mixed up with the yellow quite nicely. So I might just go over that one, see what happens. Maybe do it a little bit further apart. See how it changes. I might just put a little bit on there. And do same again on this one. I was thinking of doing flowers today, but I've ended up doing spirals because I can. Spirals and swirls. Right, that's a bit solid and isn't a bit straight, not really doing much, so I'm going to do something to this bit here. So the best that you have to use up all the colour. I've only got a little bit of purple left, otherwise it just evaporates. It's not like when you've got other paints mixed up, and you can go back and use them in about 3 minutes it's all gone. So rather than wasting your ink, you have to just go with what you've got while you can. Do a little bit more up here. Right, I think we're going to have on a bit more of the green that we've got there. So a bit like octopus. Well, I'm going to have to do an octopus. Look at that there. That's like octopus tentacles coming out of there, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to use... I've actually still got a bit of the yellow left. That's good. I might be able to use that in a minute. Right, I'm just going to clean the brush off for a minute. Okay. Mermaid, wasn't it? Okay. Make that a bit dark. I'll put 2 drops in there. should we do? Got a bit of... Hi Deirdre, how are you? I'm busy playing with my alcohol inks. As I was saying earlier, you have to make sure you have the window wide open using this stuff because it gets a little bit smelly. Overcome with fumes if I'm not careful. Hi Claire as well. Hope you're doing alright. So I'm just doing a random, it was going to be flowers, but I've ended up just doing lots of dots and spots and spirals and just playing around, just showing you how they work really. Just saying earlier, you have to work quite quickly with them when I've mixed up a little bit here. So I've got the this stuff, which is the stinky stuff, the ice, 99.9% alcohol, and mix it with the alcohol ink, and then the way the inks work is quite different to normal inks. The alcohol in it basically will wipe it clean, what you've already done, so you can see where it's spread out as it's evaporating. And then the bit that was underneath has sort of got moved now. I could get a cloth with alcohol and go whoosh and wipe it all clean if I so desired, but I'm not going to. So you have to work quite quick, and I'll just have a little play. I was saying a minute ago that bit looked a little bit like an octopus tentacle there and there, so I'm going to have to do an octopus, I think, at some point. So I did the background first, which was without the brush. That was blowing it with a straw and got that spread out effect. You have to do that fairly quickly before it evaporates. And now I'm just playing. On that bit there, you see that's quite, it's not got much of an effect in there, so I'm going to go back over it, and I want to try and use as much as I can before it all evaporates and is gone, rather than wasting the ink. Got to be precious. Careful with your resources. I could add, if I added some brush strokes now, just for a different effect. I'll just show you. I haven't really done any brush strokes at all. Been dotting away. So you can see where that line is there. Hope that shows up. You can see it okay. If I do some here, you better see it. It's a bit like a sea creature, actually. Let's do a few over here. Just join them up a little bit more. Do a few more. Yep, I think it's definitely some sort of sea creature. What do you reckon? going to do some dots over my top of my brush strokes now, all alongside it. I think it's definitely got an octopus feel to it. I might do some green. And what I do need to do, I think if I play around with this too much, that's the trouble, is like with any artwork you do, is knowing when to stop. And I don't want to fill it up too much, because it's nice to have the contrast between the if I filled it up, it's nice to have the white showing the painting up, rather than just having it totally full for this type of picture anyway. Now I think I'm going to just add another yeah, I'm going to add a few more tentacles. This is definitely not I really think I've got 8 here. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one, 8 and a few extras. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more of the yellow, because there's still a little bit left in my palette. And then I'm going to add my favourite bit to finish off, is some gold ink, which I love using. I've got a bit of yellow in here, so I've got a few bits there. It's like a few little highlights really. My flowers that I was going to do, definitely not flowers now. So I've got a tiny bit left, might as well use it. All right, let's have a go with the gold now. So the gold, as I was saying earlier, here we go, rich gold, and it's you need to shake it up because it settles at the bottom, like you have to do with a lot of paints with metallic effect. They tend to need a bit of a shake. I'm just cleaning my brush off. Okay, so I'll use that one there because it's got a little bit of the gold left in it. So I'll use a tiny bit of alcohol, a little drop, best I can without my pipette. That's got not so good now. Right, we're going to add the gold. Quite a few drops because it's let's mix it up. So let's try a little bit up here. I'm hoping you can see that. Just going to watch that bit come out, see what happens there. I might put a few gold dots at the edge here. Feeling I've had a little bit too much alcohol and it's spreading out a bit too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a bit on the side of the palette. There we go. So then it's more obvious. That's nicer. I might go inside some of the dots I've already done. And because I've not put too much alcohol in, it's not spreading out so much. Use that one there. I've got a tiny bit more alcohol. Use that one. Okay, let's put a little bit. Right, so I've got a little bit left of the gold, so I'm just sort of playing around with it now, just to finish it off. But I've got to be careful because I don't want to lose. If I put too much here, I quite like the dark bits there, and if I put the ink on there, then that will just all spread out, and I'll lose the darkness of those colours, and I don't want to lose that. And also I don't want to go too mad with the gold, much as I love it. But also I don't want to waste it. If you can see it shiny. Hi Kirsty. Been busy painting today, have you? I'm playing with my alcohol inks. So I was saying earlier I was going to do some flowers again, but I've ended up sort of an abstract sea creature stroke octopus type thing going on here, which I quite like. That's what I like doing with these. They're just playing around with them, see what appears. Nice bit of gold ink. Last little bit before it all evaporates. I'm just going to go over. I'll just do a little bit more on there. It's quite not too much, quite thick now. I can feel the difference because the alcohol's evaporating. But I've got to be careful I don't wipe it too much, because if I start brushing the page too much, it will start wiping it off. And I want to leave that green mermaid colour sort of underneath. I think that's all done there. Now if I put some alcohol on there on the palette, it will pick up that gold again for another time, but I'm not going to. I think that's the last bit I'm going to get out of this now. So there you go, that was my quick demo, impromptu demo, because I felt in the mood, showing you the alcohol inks. So I'm going to have another go another day, so let me know if anything you'd like me to have a go at painting for you, or just have a play again, see what appears. So I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, so I'll just show you, see if you can see the bit of gold shining there. definitely octopus appeared there. Must have had that in the brain. I fancy going for a swim. I've been for a swim for so long. I used to be in a swimming team when I was younger, so I have the calling for swimming every now and then. I'm missing it for sure. All right, thanks for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it, and take care, and we'll do another one again soon. I'll turn it off. Finish.